Howdy, Ram fans, and welcome to the Monday Night Sports Show. I'm Ethan Berg.
And I'm Rachel Hallam, and as always, we have a full show for y'all tonight. We recap you on all the CSU and Colorado sports action over the past week.
Hear the story Rachel has on the CSU Softball seniors.
And of course, Down in the DMs will be coming in hot this week. CTV Sports starts right now.
You may have noticed that Moby has not heard the dribble of a basketball in weeks, since February 6th. To be exact, for both the men and the women here at CSU, their last two series have been canceled due to COVID-19 concerns outside of the Colorado State programs. In back-to-back weeks, the two squads lost their series against the University of New Mexico and Nevada. However, Coach Medved's squad lost an extra game that would have been played against the cousins down southeast in Greeley, the University of Northern Colorado. Now, with the conference tournament just around the corner and with both teams on the bubble for the NCAA tournament, every single game is precious. What are your thoughts on that, Rachel?
I mean, you said it. Every single game is precious, and it really does suck for both of these teams that they haven't even had the opportunity to play, and with the idea that it's not even their fault in the first place, too.
Well, and especially for this men's team, because really the matter of the fact is that in the Mountain West women's basketball, it's a one-seed conference. So whoever wins that is going to the tournament. And right now, CSU's women hold the top spot and the top seed in the Mountain West tournament. If they win both of their games at the end of the season, they'll remain that top seed. But for the men, the Mountain West could potentially be a four-team conference. So you need to keep adding games. And honestly, remaining stagnant like they have for almost the past 2 weeks might possibly spell their end and not get a bid to the conference or to the NCAA tournament. Exactly.
So hopefully they can get some more games going and nothing more gets canceled or postponed. It would be very beneficial for that team, first of all. And while all of basketball was canceled, fortunately for Rams fans, CSU volleyball went on. But unfortunately for Colorado State faithful, it did not go the way they wanted. Now let's take a look at the first matchup between the Rams and the UNLV Rebels on Thursday in Moby Arena. To start off, we have the serve from the UNLV Rebels. Sierra Zimmerman with a beautiful set to Kennedy Stanford, who slams it down onto UNLV. Again, here we have Zimmerman with another beautiful set. Kennedy Stanford proving her place on the court. Romeliotis with a nice dig. Zimmerman again, but this time Sasha Colombo, who slams it down on the other side of the court for the Rams. And lastly, we're going to take a look at Barrett Power to Alyssa Groves. UNLV tries to save it, but it is too late. They are unable to do so. And unfortunately for the Rams, that was not enough because ultimately they left Thursday with their second loss of the season, being swept by the Rebels. And while the Rams lost, some individual performances stood out. Brianna Reynolds put in 11 kills on the night, leading the Rams in reaching double digits for just the fourth time this season. Alexa Romeliotis left with 21 digs, her season high, and Sierra Zimmerman had 28 assists and 7 digs on the night.
Now, on to Game 2 on Saturday. Let's welcome ourselves back into Moby Arena here in just a moment. Now we'll see here UNLV with the kill that lands just in front of Alexa Romeliotis, but you will see her all over these highlights because she had a program high 36 digs. You saw the acrobatic one there, and now Sierra Zimmerman just sneaks that one over to get the sneaky kill. Romeliotis receives the serve, but Van Liefde into the double block, and now Hudson digs it over to Colombo for the kill. And the Italian gets a point on the boards for the Rams, but it's all about defense, and UNLV is proving that on the tough dig. Now Brianna Reynolds is into the double block again, and the Rams would drop it 1-3, the record now 3-3 on the season, now 3-3 on the season. Along with her program record 36 kills, Romeliotis also tallied 5 aces. The main issues, which never really has been an issue in the past, is the Rams' offense. They hit a mere 11% compared to UNLV's 24%.
Well, this is definitely tough to watch. I mean, it's not typical to see the Rams volleyball team lose so much. But, I mean, you have so many freshmen on this team. They're all really young, and that's not a bad thing. You have a lot of growth that they can do, and they have a lot of veterans that can still help them out and get them to a place where they can feel comfortable in their division.
I mean, honestly, right now, sitting at 500 is probably where the best spot they could be right now. It's all going to come down to Tom Hilbert's cultivation of a young team.
Yeah, they had a lot of pressure coming on them when Mountain West named them the top seed for this season, but we'll see what they can do with that. All right, well, moving back to the basketball court, the Denver Nuggets made the trip out east to face off against the Cleveland Cavaliers last Friday. To start off, you have Jokic to MPJ under the basket for an easy dunk, the very first points of the game. Denver Nuggets go up early first. Cavs trying to get something started on the move, but Jamal Murray steals from Colin Sexton, takes it all the way to the basket by himself. Nice little slam dunk for himself there, too. Now you have Jokic again trying to find some help, and he finds MPJ on the outside with a nice three, adding to his 22 points on the game. He was just going off there, too. But Jokic trying to find some help again, and it's none other than Jamal Murray with a beautiful three. And the Nuggets would leave Cleveland with a victory in their back pocket, beating the Cavs 120-103 and handing them their 9th straight loss. While the ever-so-powerful Nikola Jokic had a triple-double on his birthday, might I add, no big deal, the star for the Nuggets was Jamal Murray, who carried Denver to a win with a career best of 50 points. Michael Porter Jr. was big for the Nuggets as well, scoring 22 points, pulling in 7 rebounds and 1 assist. On the other side, Cleveland's best performer was Colin Sexton with 23 points. The Nuggets went on to play again yesterday. Ethan, tell us what happened there.
Well, you would think after beating up the Cavs, things would go pretty similar against the cellar dweller Atlanta Hawks, right? Well, yesterday's game was a bit of a different story down in Atlanta. So Jamal Murray is going to have to kind of find something in his bag, but after scoring 50 points and scoring 30 against the Hawks, it wasn't too hard. But Trae Young just initiates a lot of ball movement, as always, and Snell hits the corner three. Now, Jokic trying to drive, but he is blocked by John Mays with the ball. He's driving down the court. He has an open basket, he thinks, but Barton blocks it straight into Clint Capella's hands. That time, defense turned into your opponent's offense. Speaking of offense, Trae Young to the former Nugget Gallo for the dunk, but he's got so much more in his bag than anybody really thought he would heading into it. Easy step back over Jamal Murray. Barton to Facu Campazzo for the three, but it's all just a little too late for the Nuggets as they would lay an egg and drop this one 123-115. Trae Young and Clint Capella both had double-doubles of 35 and 22 points respectively. And also dropping another double-double was Nikola Jokic, his NBA-leading 27th of the season. And if we're going to speak about that, maybe I was wrong a couple weeks ago when I said Nikola Jokic didn't need too much more help. It's starting to become obvious when you get smacked, basically, by the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah. There's still great players on this team. I mean, last week we talked about it. Jokic gets 50 points and they still lose a game. Murray gets 50 points in one game. They beat the Cavs. He gets 30 in the next game. They still lose a game. I mean, they're getting points on the board. That's the thing. The difference is their defense. They need to keep that up.
No way a team should be 16-14 when their center has 27 straight double-doubles. That
just does not make sense. All right, well, hockey season is in full swing, and the Colorado Avalanche have been making their mark on the NHL season. Currently sitting at third in the Western Division, the Avs are in the middle of a 4-game series against the Golden Knights. And after losing the first matchup last Tuesday, Colorado came to play. First, we're looking at Mikko Rantanen. He finds Nathan McKinnon for the first goal of the game for the Avs. Now we're looking at Max Pacioretty. Does it himself and scores for the Knights to tie the game at 1 apiece. Avs up 2-1 when the Knights pressure. First shot is wide. Then you have Riley Smith bringing it around for a second attempt, but it's finally cleaned up by Jonathan Marchessault. tied at 2 apiece with just over 40 seconds left, and it is none other than Nazim Kadri who scores to get the Avs the final point of the game, and they would go on to win this game 3-2, and it was just incredible to get it over with just 40 seconds left in the game. He did it for the Avs. The Avs would go on to win Game 2 of their matchup against Vegas 2-3, and defense was the key to take away from this Western Division battle. With 29 shots against, Avs goalie Philip Grubauer saved 27, while Knights goalie Marc-Andre Fleury had 25 shots against and saved 22. The Knights' biggest star was not shocking at all, with Nazim Kadri scoring the game winner for the Avalanche in the final 40 seconds, edging the Avs to victory.
Now, Game 2 was against the same Golden Knights, but on beautiful Lake Tahoe for the NHL's yearly outdoor series. I mean, come on, just look at this for a second. The ever so handsome Valerie Nichushkin is almost forgotten about when you take in that Lake Tahoe backdrop. Just a dream to play hockey on. And speaking of hockey, it was also played. Here we got McKinnon to Sam Girard, and he's just going to score it. Sam says, yes, please, let's get the Avs back on the board to start this one going. You might notice it's a little dark because it's Lake Tahoe. It's California. The ice was melting, but that doesn't matter. They played again at midnight. Translo's shot was rebounded by Alex Martinez to tie up this matchup. Nathan McKinnon, you can already tell where he's going. Nathan Petriello, all he can say is, oh boy, because there's nothing you can do. It's Nathan McKinnon. It's the best hockey player in all of the NHL. And then Devin Toe's slap shot goes in to put up the Avs up 3-1. And those are some happy Avalanche, if you ask me. Zach Whitecloud finds Alex Tuch, who hits it with the spinnies. 360, goal, top corner. But the acrobatics were not quite enough. This was, again, a little too little, a little too late, as the Avs would hold on to win 3-2 over the Golden Knights. McKinnon had a goal and 2 assists on the night, bringing his season point total to 18. Philip Grubauer had another great night inside the pipes, saving 27 of the Knights' 29 shots. I still can't get over Lake Tahoe.
I was just going to say, that is the coolest place to be playing hockey.
It just, can't have fans there. Why do it in a stadium? It's not a stadium series. I think the NHL should do that every year. It's just, it just seemed like it would be a dream.
Yeah, absolutely. Even if you're not a fan of these two teams, it'd be fun to just be out there and see a hockey game in person, an NHL hockey game in person, and to be sitting on a lake and on your boat watching it from the water. I think that'd be freaking amazing.
Show up in some lawn chairs, like some good old T-ball,
Nice little tailgate out on the water.
Yep.
All right, well, don't go anywhere, Ram fans. We have Colorado State softball news coming up after the break.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back.
when you want to talk, I'm here.
Welcome back from the break, Rams. Let's talk some tennis. While there has always been and probably always will be a debate on who the greatest athlete of all time is, and while I have my own opinions, Ethan probably has his own opinions, and so will everybody else, there is no denying that Serena Williams deserves to at least be a part of that conversation. But recently, one of her competitors has been showing why she may be next up. For the past couple of weeks, the Australian Open has been in prime time, and the Queen has actually fallen to someone she knows all too well. Naomi Osaka has just won her second Australian Open, and she had to step on quite a few toes to get there, including Serena's. The two faced off in the semifinals of the tournament last week, where the 23-year-old took down who has been known as the face of women's tennis. Osaka defeated Williams in 2 sets and proves she has what it takes to take over as the sport's top athlete. With 6 aces to Williams' 3 and an 85% win rate on first serve, Osaka would advance to the final and win the Australian Open. Now, after the victory, Osaka was a bit of a jokester, thanking those around her.
Do you like to be called Jenny or Jennifer?
Jenny.
Okay. Firstly, I want to congrat Jennifer. We played in the semis of the U.S. Open.
Now, speaking of sports greats, Osaka had a fantastic relationship with the late Kobe Bryant. And during one of her matches, New York Liberty basketball star Sabrina Ionescu tweeted about Osaka's encounter with a little butterfly on the court. Osaka was met by a butterfly during the 3rd round of the Open, and Ionescu was quick to say who she thought was watching over, the Black Mamba himself. And the young phenom was not shy to show her love and appreciation for Kobe. Wearing a Lakers jacket for most of the tournament and to some of her press conferences, saying it gave her the strength she needed to finish the tournament out strong. With this victory, Osaka is sure to continue her climb in the tennis world and quite possibly become the new face of women's tennis.
Now moving on from rackets and to some bats. Rams volleyball was not the only CSU team in action last week. After their opening tournament in Texas was canceled to that crazy weather, the Rams finally got on the field over the weekend when they competed in the Texas A&M Invitational. Down in College Station, Colorado State went 1-4 overall, with their most recent loss coming this morning to Texas Tech 0-3. The Rams' offense was virtually non-existent in the Invitational, being outscored 8-18 in their 5 matchups, and 7 of those 8 runs were scored in their only win over Texas A&M on Saturday. Karina Gamboa was the bright spot for the quiet Rams offense, going 4 for 16 in the Invitational for a .250 batting average with 1 homer and 3 RBIs. The Rams will travel to Tucson, Arizona for the Wildcat Invitational on Thursday, looking to turn their early season woes around. But, of course, the Rams' current struggles are nothing compared to losing their season last year.
That's exactly right, Ethan. For this year's seniors, just having a season was more than enough.
The coronavirus has been the bearer of bad news, to say the least. And last year for CSU Softball program, it managed to cause the last problem the team would ever want to face. Before the season could even really begin, it was already over.
It was just like kind of a heartbroken moment because we have worked so hard over the summer and the fall and the spring to, on a Wednesday morning, the NCAA says we have canceled softball season. There's no more college sports. There's no March Madness. And it was just kind of a blurry moment. We just didn't know what to expect next.
As former Mountain West champions, the Rams were looking forward to their 2020 season. But this weekend, CSU will be heading to Texas A&M for their very first game in almost a year.
Yeah, we're just super excited to get the ball rolling. I mean, last weekend we got it canceled, but, we just use that opportunity to prepare more through practice. And, when we get those opportunities to play, like this weekend, we're just not going to take them for granted and just get ready to get the ball rolling.
Since COVID ruined multiple senior seasons, especially for the softball team, it was only fitting that the NCAA grant student athletes a 5th year of eligibility. And for some, opting in for another season was an easy decision.
It was a silver lining. Our season got canceled. However, we got another opportunity to come back and play. And I think it might have been easy in the sense of Coach Fisher really put it into perspective of yes, you have life, or you can play softball again. We will respect whatever you guys choose to do. And so it was really up to us. And as you can see, we came back and we just, in our hearts, we just wanted to end softball on a good note.
Now, as excitement fills the mind of these players, their challenging preseason schedule is the main focus.
Yes, we have a challenging preseason, but there's a blessing in that because we'd rather be challenged and we'd rather have hard games than to maybe run rule and steamroll through some teams, and we'd rather just be challenged. And I think that's a great opportunity that we're presented with this preseason.
Well, you know, I love what Haley said there about, you know, finding the silver linings, because that's really what, I mean, all of us have been doing for the past, almost a year now, you know?
Yeah, they talked a lot about that, how it was great that they had this opportunity to come back, but when I asked that question of the idea, was it really easy to come back, both of them were kind of hesitant in the idea that, yeah, it was easy, but at the same time, like, we had other things that we were planning to do after softball this year. Both of them now, Corinna and Haley, are both graduate students, so they're figuring out their place in this crazy, messed up time that we're living right now, and having all those freshmen come on this season as well. They have 7 new freshmen on this team.
Wow.
And having them, it's just giving the seniors and the graduate students a chance to be a mentor again, and to realize that, like, you don't get this moment all the time. So they're trying to help others realize that they're not going to have this opportunity all the time too, because they've experienced it themselves. They've lost it already.
You got to cherish it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you know, just like last year's softball, seniors do not even think about leaving. Ram fans, Down in the DMs is coming up after the break.
It takes less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes. You can do it here. But you probably won't. You're busy. Kids, work, show coming back in 48 seconds. So let's do this now. Hold up 1 finger if you're a man. Women, 0. 3 more fingers if you're over 60. 2 over 50. 1 over 40. If you're not sure, keep in mind you're sitting on a couch right now, so 1 more finger if you're not very active. 1 finger if yes, 0 if no. 1 yes, 0 no. Next, find the body type that looks most like you and hold up that many fingers while I look around awkwardly. And that's it. If you're holding up 5 fingers or more, you probably have prediabetes. Sorry to be so blunt, but hey, you're busy. Just go to the site.
Well, Rams, it is about time for my weekly catharsis. Down in the DMs opens tonight with a question from Jason DeMarco. He asks, will the Packers make the Super Bowl before Aaron Rodgers retires? What do you think?
I don't like that smile. I feel like
well,
you're
I'm just
already
wondering.
ready.
I'm just excited.
All right. Well, I don't know, honestly. I want to say that they will, but I think that the franchise needs to learn how to treat their quarterback a little better than they kind of did this past season. When you have a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, who just won MVP, I mean, it's showing that he's getting older, but he's not slowing down anytime soon. You do not go out and draft a quarterback in the first round.
Yep.
And make him angry. While it did work because he got angry and he wanted to play his heart out, you don't do that. And as long as, I think if the franchise can figure out what they're doing, I think it'll be okay. Like I said, he just won MVP for this past season. He's looking for revenge. I don't see him retiring anytime soon, so I think they have a good chance to get to the Super Bowl.
Yo, I don't know if I agree, because now it's even a question of how long will Aaron Rodgers even still be in Green Bay before he retires? Like, does this question still count if they make it to the Super Bowl?
Without
but
him?
He's at a different team? I mean, I think you brought up a great point, you know. His front office has basically done nothing but disrespect him for 2 years. He said, you know what, I'm going to be the MVP, and I'm going to create a little discourse in the offseason, you know, make people doubt if I actually want to be here. Because Aaron Rodgers is one of the most arrogant men in all of sports.
Oh, yes.
You don't step on that dude's toes.
He's stirring up the pot.
He's going to stir it up. I don't think he ends up with even going to the Super Bowl with Green Bay. I feel
Might
like
go with a different team.
His perfect story is going with a different team.
I think that would definitely be his perfect story, but I think he's trying to stir the pot, make them realize that he's an asset for them and he should not be going anywhere. I don't see him leaving Green Bay right now, maybe in the next coming seasons, but I don't see him right now. I see him staying with Green Bay at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that was very quick, and we're going to move on to our second question, which comes from @RXBash on Twitter. Who won the Carson Wentz trade, Ethan? I
mean, it's hard to really say which team won it, but one person that did win it is Carson Wentz. Like, in reality, I mean, he's the winner. And not only is he being reunited with Frank Reich, who was the offensive coordinator who in 2017 who helped him to the best season of his career. So he's got to be excited about that. No? But on the other hand, why would the Eagles accept a condition that he plays 75% of the snaps for the Colts, for the most broken quarterback in all of football? That part doesn't make sense. True winner, Carson Wentz. Middle, Colts. Definite loser, Eagles.
Oh, yeah, I would agree with that 100%. I definitely think that Wentz won this trade. As a person, I definitely think he won this. It's just hard for him because, one, he's injury prone, like you talked about, and two, there is a big up-and-coming quarterback right behind him on the Eagles. Jalen Hurts is still a good quarterback, and he's also very injury prone. But I think this is good for the Eagles in the sense that they have a quarterback that they can actually build with, and because they're getting draft picks from the Colts, I think that helps with their rebuilding of their whole team, not just with their quarterback.
But, I mean, what happens when Jalen Hurts gets hurt?
What happens when Carson Wentz gets hurt?
I mean, the Colts, they signed Phillip Rivers. How much faith did they have in their quarterback anyway?
I don't want to get into this with you right now, all right? This is not something we need to talk about, okay? He is gone. He needs to be signed to a one-day contract by the Chargers so that he can be retired as a Charger. But that's fine. We don't have to talk about that.
You talked about it. I did not say anything about that.
You brought up Phillip Rivers, which you did not need to do.
It was a fair point. It wasn't a dig. I think you're wearing
It's kind of a dig. The way
you
you smiled at me after.
You show up wearing your leather jacket and you think you can yell at me.
Okay,
yeah?
Easter.
Oh,
Yeah. Let's move on anyway to the last question, please, before we start arguing about something other than sports.
Lastly. A question from our friend Owen. Who has the biggest NBA ceiling of Luka Garza, Kofi Cockburn, Hunter Dickinson, or Sandro Mukashvili? I'm going to try my best.
It's all good. It's all good. All right. This one for me, I'm going to have to go with Kofi Cockburn because, not only is he a powerhouse on offense, but he's also making the moves on defense. He is averaging a double-double right now. He's a 7-foot, 285 center. I mean, I'm terrified to even just stand next to him.
That's an NFL linebacker right there.
I am also like half his size, maybe shorter and smaller than that. But anyway, he's averaging a double-double. And if you saw there's an interview with Michigan State, Tom Izzo, who called him a man-child and says he hasn't seen a big man the likes of him since Shaq. And I think that is a huge compliment and says a lot about this kid.
It is high praise. It is very high praise. And, the only two guys that I knew from this question, if I'm being completely honest, were Luka Garza and Kofi Cockburn. The other two guys, Dickinson, he's just a freshman. He's got a lot of promise. Yeah. NBA ready, not quite. Mamukashvili from Seton Hall. Mm-hmm. I think he's got the lowest potential of the group.
He is a senior, too.
He is a senior. If you're looking at seniors right now, it's all Luka Garza. Luka Garza is my answer to this question.
I was going to say, so is that your answer?
I would agree that Cockburn has the highest defensive potential for the NBA and board potential. Right. But, we're talking about big men and how impressive they've been in the past decade. There has not been a more pure scoring big man in the NCAA than Luka Garza.
Absolutely.
The dude, it's almost unfair to call him a big man. He scores like a guard. He's shooting 44.4% from three this year.
Just became the Iowa point leader too.
Yeah. So
in school history.
If you're it's Luka Garza all the way. If you're an NBA team, you are salivating over that guy.
Yep, that's exactly what they're doing.
It's like a nice steak.
Looking at him as a prospect, okay.
As a prospect, it's a metaphor.
Yeah, I got it.
It's okay. We're done. That is all the time we have for this discourse for tonight. So follow us on Twitter and Instagram at sports_CTV to stay updated on all things CSU athletics. I'm Ethan Bird.
And I'm Rachel Hallam. Make sure to tune in tomorrow night to catch an inside look into Rams football with Ellison Hubbard. Good night, Rams.